right, everybody, so we're doing something a little bit different today with our dowsing. Today we decided to look at archetypes that we would benefit from transforming, transmuting, switching around instead of our normal energies that we look at. Today, the energy of the damsel in distress, that's the one that came up that we would benefit from releasing. And then the new archetype that we could lean more heavily into was the one of the pioneer. I love this so much because to me, the damsel is paralyzed and the pioneer has energy, has life, has courage to move forward and build their own life, solve their own problems, be creative. Again, be unafraid to move forward. Again, the damsel, she's frozen, she's retreating, she is just paralyzed. The pioneer, forward movement, and how perfect in light of everything going on in the astrology and potentially all over the world with all sorts of changes taking place right now. And that's what I'm looking for all of us as we do this work, is like, how do we shift out of that energy of paralyzation and into the energy of movement? We hear people talking about it. We hear people talk about Aries energy. We hear people talking about eclipses, but what does that mean in your practical day-to-day life? That's what I'm here to help us discover through the use of the spiritual response technique modality, which is what I'm doing right now. This is a whole series of charts developed back in the 1980s by a gentleman who was both a pastor and a psychologist, developed through the practice of observation of hypnosis sessions. So I'm not going to get into that whole thing right now, but if you're curious, again, it's called spiritual response therapy or spiritual response technique, and that's what I am doing right now. The core understanding is my higher self, which is the future version of me, okay? The future version of me where time does not exist, but she has access to all of the wisdom, all of the truth, all of the information that we need to be able to get through this current present day. She's talking to your higher self. She's talking to the collective's higher self, that future version of us that has been there, done that, knows all about it, and can get information to help us now get through this very present moment in a more beneficial or helpful way. So let's dive into it and find out what is the root of this archetype of the damsel in distress. So what is the root of this? How do we deal with this? Where did it come from? Because I really do believe if we can figure out where it came from, we know how to get rid of it. So this is called current psychological disharmony, or our obstacles to all of these things that are happening in this center wheel here that you can see. So I'm going to go in here, and again, we're asking, what is the root of us being in this damsel in distress energy? Where did it come from? And then again, I'm going to look at what can we do to get rid of it? Assertiveness. Obstacles to our assertiveness. That makes so much sense, doesn't it? I always get excited. I hope you can see how exciting this is for me still, even though I've been doing this work for 6 or 7 years now, because it's all new to me. And every single moment that this information is being revealed to you here on the screen, it's being revealed to me right here as well. I don't know what's coming next. So this is really cool. So blocks to our assertiveness. That is why we're in the energy of the damsel in distress. This rings very true for me. I know we as a society, at least here in the US, really struggle with assertiveness. We might be aggressive. We have no problem with aggressiveness, but that is not the same as assertiveness. To assert yourself, to assert your will. Again, to be the pioneer, you must be able to assert yourself and your own will. Well, we have blocks to that. So I'm going to ask, what is blocking us to our assertiveness? So I just go back to my first chart. What is blocking us to our assertiveness? Can you show me what might be blocking us to our assertiveness? Is this 10A or map of consciousness? So map of consciousness is this big, beautiful rainbow chart. Down here is lower frequency energies in the red. Up here in the indigo is the higher level frequencies up at the top there. So I'm just going to ask, is it on this side of the chart or this side of the chart? Great. And is it this one? Okay, so it's this one. So, okay, so immediately you saw my pendulum start to go sideways on top of humiliation and blame. Humiliation and blame. So at a certain point in our soul's journey, in the collective journey, we experienced what we felt like was humiliation and blame for asserting ourselves, for being ourselves, for saying, hey, this is crap. I don't stand for this. I don't want to put up with this. And unfortunately, at a certain point, that humiliation and blame became our cage. It became the tower that we are stuck on top of as the damsel in distress. And so we need to clear out the energy of humiliation and blame from all of these past lives, from all of these experiences, from all of our trauma, from our entire collective journey, so that we can uncage ourselves, break free to be the pioneers that know how to say, enough is enough. I'm no longer a damsel in distress. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of the humiliation that you want to say is put upon me. I'm not afraid of the guilt. I'm not afraid of anything that you want to feed me that is keeping me paralyzed and keeping me waiting for someone else to save me. Because that's the other thing with the damsel in distress, right? She's just waiting. She's waiting for someone else to save her, totally unwilling to see her own power as her own savior, as her own heroine. So, yeah, I love this. I think this is fantastic. So then the next question is, what do I got to do to bring us up out of humiliation, up out of despair, not despair, I just saw that word, out of blame, humiliation and blame. What can we do to help release all of us from that humiliation and blame and draw us up the map of consciousness, up into the higher frequency energies? Okay, so what do we got here? Conscious mind programming. This is stuff that is in our conscious mind. We are on some level aware of it. And I think that's why we're all probably really frustrated right now. We know that we are being given energies of blame and humiliation. And again, we've been being told things to paralyze us, to make us feel that we are not powerful. And we're aware of it, but yet we feel powerless still. Because again, that's what we've been fed. That's the story we've been fed. Those are the lies we've been fed. That is, again, the mental programming that we have been fed. And when you have been fed mental programming and then bought into it and allowed it to be your script, the script that rules your life, the script that, fuels what you do with your actions, again, now we're in the energy of humiliation and blame. Now we're paralyzed. Now we're powerless. Now we are not pioneers developing and building our own lives, and hopefully developing and building, the universe around us. That's the thing. As the damsel in distress, you are not building your own world. You are not being a part of the building of a beautiful new universe. You're just, again, trapped up in your high tower. So we're going to ask again, what can we do to rid ourselves of these programs? And we can just say right now, we release ourselves from any program that is telling us that we should be ashamed and in the energy of humiliation. I release myself from any mental program that is telling me that I am just a damsel in distress that has no power. I now firmly believe in my own ability to be a pioneer, to move myself forward, and to be the builder of the next beautiful universe. Okay, we're going to release that. All right, so just in doing that one thing, let's go back down here. So again, we were down in the red, and then we want to move up into the blue. And this is about our emotional body, by the way. Each one of these columns is representative of a different part of ourselves. So the first one is like, who is spirit to you? What is your spiritual life representing? Where is your mental mind at? Where is that at? What place, what energy are you operating from? And then this one right here is, where is your emotional body at? It's that emotional body that was holding us down into the damsel in distress archetype, down again at blame and humiliation. Now we want to bring it up. We want to bring it up into bliss, serenity, understanding, and forgiveness. So now that we just did that conscious mind program release, now where are we up on this map of consciousness? That was all we needed to do. That was all we needed to do. Now we're all the way up there. So that resolved that. So now let's look at, so do you want me to continue? I'm just going to ask a yes or no. When it's yes, it goes this way. When it's no, it goes this way. So now I'm going to ask, do you want me to dive in further into the damsel in distress archetype? I'm getting a no. So now we want to look at, now it's already moving to a yes, we want to look at any blocks to our pioneer archetype. So let's get into that. So now I'm going to ask, can we look at, let's actually get a percentage first. So we want to look at what percent are we open to the pioneer archetype. Did you see that? That moved to 0. This is 0 down here. I have a 0 right here. It's like all the way down at the bottom. And then 100 over here at the other side is 100%. So we're 0% open to our pioneering archetype. And then what percent are we blocked to our pioneering archetype? 100% blocked. So we're not open at all. Our heart is not open to our pioneering archetype, and there's this external block blocking us to our pioneering archetype. So let's get into that. What do we need to do to clear the blocks out of the way? Let's look at that first. So what do we need to do to clear the blocks out of the way? Like, what is blocking us? What is happening here? Is this fragmented ego or contact or help? Okay, we're going to look onto the inside of the chart. What do we need to do? Who do we need to contact? So the angels of light is what is coming up. And this is one of those things. SRT is really interesting because it covers all spectrum of the whole self of being human. It talks about the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, the physical, all different parts of who we are, our energetic body, right? Covers all things. And in this particular case, we're talking about deeply spiritual things. In SRT, there is a belief that there are beings called the angels of light. They are not the angels that we see necessarily in this realm, but they are the angels in the spiritual realm. And all that this is telling me to do right now is to call in the angels of light, to thank the angels of light for being here to help us unblock ourselves to our pioneering archetype. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're just going to say, hey, thanks, angels of light. Appreciate you being here to help me transition into my pioneer archetype. And on some level, if you want to think about it, like, yeah, I was the damsel in distress up in my locked up tower, and the angels of light came in and they picked me up and they dropped me off down at the bottom of the drawbridge on the other side of the drawbridge so that I can walk forward into my pioneering archetype. If you'd like to imagine that for yourself right now, it can be wildly helpful to use your imagination. I think that's like all the celebrities will tell you, like, how did you get your success? How did you whatever? And they're like, I just imagined that it could be true. That's why they have so many sports psychologists working with the athletes on visualization. You visualize yourself as the winner. You have to be able to visualize that success that you want to have. You visualize the future you want to have. And it really, really works. Science shows it. I mean, these massive billion-dollar sports teams are paying big money for sports psychologists to help walk athletes through this hypnosis / visualization meditation practice. So I would really encourage you to just consider doing this with me right now. Imagine yourself as the damsel in distress locked in the high tower. And then watch as through the window, through the walls, through the doors, however you would like to welcome them in, the angels of light come in and say, ah, you rang? You were waiting for a savior? Here we are. We will come and help you. And then they pick you up. And they carry you over into, if it's easier for you to imagine them walking you down the hallway and through the hall, however you want to imagine it, you imagine those angels of light delivering you now out onto the solid, firm ground. And then they will walk with you forward into this next part of your life. They don't have to leave you once they've dropped you off. You can be a pioneer that has angels of light on your side. You don't have to be a pioneer that's alone. Being a pioneer doesn't mean, going at it by yourself. So thank you, angels of light, for being here with us right now. Now I'm just going to ask right away, now what percent are we blocked to our pioneer archetype? Not at all, 0. So with one thing, we just blasted all those blocks out of the way. Now let's look at our openness. That's the final thing we're going to do together here today. Now what percent, I'm not going to ask a percentage question because we already know we were 0% open. So now what do we need to do to open ourselves up to our pioneer archetype? Y'all, this is Kate in the morning after having her 2 cups of coffee. My words are just coming really fast. I apologize. Okay, so programs in the subconscious mind of I am that I am. This is like the energy of the Christians, the mystics, all of the religious vibes, the religious energy. That is what is preventing us from being open to our pioneering archetype, because a lot of times those dogmas want us to believe that we are powerless and that we need a savior. And that has not been helpful for us. Waiting for a savior has not been helpful for us. And so we release ourselves from those beliefs now, knowing and firmly standing in the new belief that I am powerful on my own and I do not need saved. I can have the angels of light here to help me, but I don't need saved. I am powerful just as I am. I am powerful just as I am, and I do not need a savior. Say those words with me right now. I am powerful just as I am, and I do not need a savior. Whew, okay, here we go. So anything else we can do today as it relates to opening ourselves up to our beautiful, wonderful pioneer archetype? Dysfunction of our expression. So we're calling for complete functionality, complete harmony in all of our expressions now: physical expression, emotional expression, spiritual expression, mental expression. The expression of love is what I'm hearing. The expression of our ideas is what I'm hearing. The expression of our creative force. We're calling in complete function in that area now. We don't have to be dysfunctional in our expression, right? If you are the damsel in distress, holding yourself back, not expressing yourself, being powerless, waiting for a savior, of course, that's a dysfunction of expression. And we don't need that. That's not serving us. It's not benefiting us. And so again, we're just harmonizing ourselves now, all of our energy, giving ourselves the confidence to know and believe that we can safely express all parts of us. There is no part of us that needs to continue to be in the damsel in distress energy. Whew, okay, now I'm going to ask percentage questions. So now we were 0% open to our pioneer archetype. Now what percent are we open to our pioneer archetype? 100%. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And then I'm going to ask another yes or no question, and I'm going to say, is this clearing complete? Yep, that's a big ol' yes. So we're going to do 100% of 100% of mop up. That's when we just say whatever didn't come up in the charts, we're asking for it to be cleared. Just calling it a really great day for all of us, feeling like the new pioneers that we are. And our new energy for the rest of today is the energy of gratitude, the energy of sobriety. Oh, I kind of like that. Vitality. Gratitude, sobriety, and vitality are our new energies for the rest of today. Whew. Okay. I hope that was helpful for you in some way. Thanks for going on this interesting journey with me. Hopefully, we enjoyed a little bit of this new dynamic with our archetypes. Again, we've let go of the damsel in distress. We are now leaning fully into our pioneering archetypes. We can drop back in for just a moment, allowing ourselves to be here right now, in the present, not worried about the past or thinking about the future, accepting this healing for ourselves and for the world. All right, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you next time on another episode of Clearing with Kate.